In the 90s, Playmates Toys made the deepest line of Star Trek action figures in history. My name's Keith, and I'm a collector working towards owning all 284. I've been a Trek fan for almost 35 years, and most people are sick of me talking about it. But somehow I've convinced my old friend Mike to review them with me on Look at My Star Trek Toys! What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Mike Eats on Camera, or Look at My Star Trek Toys. That's disgusting, but we have a great episode for you today. We have another episode all about Playmates 4.5-inch figures, the classics from the 90s. We are going to love it. And Mike, you're going to love this episode in particular because today we are doing an episode of all Deep Space Nine figures. I've had to hold some of them back because of spoiler alerts, but luckily we are now, at this point, we have finished season 2 of Keith and Mike Watch Deep Space Nine.
So what a finale, huh? What a finale.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Mike hasn't seen it yet, but we're time traveling right now. You don't even know. I don't even know what day this is going to air, but by this point we will have finished season 2 of Deep Space Nine. Very exciting. And so because of that, we can now show you some of these amazing figures from back in the day. You want to know what else is amazing, Mike?
What's that?
It's our patrons at patreon.com/K&M, where they get all sorts of bonus nonsense because, if you haven't seen Mike eat on camera, wait till you see Mike eat on camera while watching Deep Space Nine on substances. Mm-hmm. So it's really a full experience. Mike, who's doing that?
That is Delusions at Noon, Grim_Toys, Nikolay Ivanovich Lobachevsky, and the mysterious Jorge Navoa, Andrew Hayes, Charles Babbage, Casey Clark, CRM Productions, Worf's Boot Shivs, and our buddy Brian Kaufman.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, so lots of fun stuff here.
Love Deep Space Nine. I'm so in love with the show, so in love with it. It's literally the highlight of my week when I can watch it every Monday and then talk with you every Tuesday so that our YouTube viewers can see it on Wednesday.
Yeah, it has been a delight for me to watch Mike enjoy the series. I think that's part of what I love about the show is that I'm able to see Deep Space Nine all over again through completely fresh eyes, which is really, really fun. And if Mike is this excited in season 2, hold on to your hats, kids. Going to be so much fun. So I think we should begin with one of the figures that was introduced here in season 2. We are going to take a look at Intendant Kira from the Mirror Universe. Mike, just go.
Such a scene chewy performance for Nana Visitor here. And hey, you know what? This figure's capturing a bit of that action for me. I don't know that the face sculpt's working. It could be just the angle there. But I like that she's showing some sass. She's showing some sex appeal. I think that's what that character kind of imbibed. You don't quite see the evil, but she's exuding enough evil for me.
Yeah, I mean, I love the character. I love the performance. I don't mind the sculpt. However, this is, late in the, this is Wave Factor Series 4, or Warp Factor Series 4, when they started putting them in weird poses that could not be adapted. So there is no knee articulation. There's no elbow articulation here. So she's in this weird, like, poopy pants stance.
I was going to say yellow belt in karate, but okay, poopy pants. That works.
Yeah, that cannot be adapted. They did this with but 5 or 6 of these figures from this timeline. And I think everybody hated it, including me. I would love to have this figure with regular articulation like the rest of the figures because it doesn't feel like it's part of the same line. That said, I'm very excited to have Intendant Kira immortalized here. Although it's weird that her suit here is entirely jet black when it's kind of more silvery gray on screen. And I think it would look a little bit better if this were silvery gray on the figure itself. But, so it's one of those lighter figures. It wasn't it has some limitations. Her facial sculpture, she looks very surprised
Yes.
to be in the mirror universe. She's like, what's happening? Did I poop my pants? Why am I walking like this? I don't know. So nonetheless, it's still really cool to have. Mike, let's look at the box.
Good idea, Keith. I forgot that's my job. And here it is.
It is your job. Yes. So yeah, Warp Factor Series 4 here. Came with I can't tell what that is, but weapons and torture devices and other sort of nonsense that Intendant Kira would be up to. Yeah, so these are the Warp Factor boxes, which have that little swoop there. Yeah, let's see what we have there.
We have a Bajoran pistol, a Bajoran rifle, because she needs multiple weapons, a desktop monitor, Keith, and a Bajoran action base.
Of course, a Bajoran action base. You got to have one of those. So, yeah. So, that's the figure. I mean, do people disagree with me? Do some people are fine with it? I mean, I get that when you remove the articulation, sort of like the 7 of 9 figure, you're able to have much more form-fitting, body sculpts that look a little bit less sort of generic legs. So, like, yeah, they're trying to make her sexier, right? But I think we lose something with that. At least let her bend her knees. Let her stand up. Knees and elbows, guys. How hard is that?
Head, shoulders, knees, and toes.
Knees and toes. All right. So I think we should move forward, but stay in the mirror universe. What do you say with Mirror Sisko? Here is his figure. See, this one has regular articulation. This has all the regular stuff. But that is because this was from Mixed Series number 3 a little bit earlier. Mike, talk about Sisko.
Well, here's the thing, Keith. If any of the figures would have benefited from sort of a more action-based pose, it would have been this guy, right? Because he's a little more swashbuckling. He's a little more Han Solo. Let's be frank. He's also sort of a sex slave.
Yeah.
So they could have given him something. And here, the way the costume and the kind of posing, like he looks just a little ho-hum, if you ask me. And there was so much more to his character than just ho-hum Ben in like these peasant clothing. So I feel like this is a missed opportunity for me.
Well, I think it's the costuming, though. I don't think it's the figure. I mean, we've talked about it before. I think Star Trek does unbelievable alien and uniform design, but their civilian clothes are pretty ho-hum.
Yeah.
They're pretty like, random dum-dum villager. And I wish they'd found a way to make, at least in the 90s version, right, to make the civilian clothes be a little bit more interesting. Just like lots of like tan and browns and grays and yellow and washed out stuff. And yeah, so like I think it's the costume, frankly.
Okay, I'll buy it.
I feel like Pirate Sisko would have a much more exciting costume. But that's not what we have here. But we do have at least an articulated Sisko who can do stuff. I believe it's the same head sculpt as the DS9 Series 1, but like that makes sense because this is Season 2 before he changed his look. Mike, let's take a look at the box, shall we? Here in the box, so this is the Mixed Series box, which I think is one of the more successful boxes. I really like that color scheme. I think that's a really... it makes all the figures pop really well. And of course, he came with a Pog, or since I can't say Pog, it's a space cap.
Yeah, makes much more sense.
Did you ever play Pog?
I did for a little while, because there was like, they sold in those little tubes and we would collect them. There were you'd get some like special sparkly ones. I can't remember the rules so much. Didn't you like kind of like flick them and then they popped or something?
I never played. I think it came out a little bit late for me, but I collected the ones that had like I think I have a Phil Simms Pog, but I think these are, I don't have any experience playing the game. But there it was. It came with some choking hazards, as you might expect, and a pre-season 3 communicator stand. Mike, do you know that there's going to be some changes coming up for season 3?
Can't wait. I know we have some changes coming up visually, so that it only stands to reason.
That's right. You gotta refresh. You gotta keep things fresh. Gotta keep things new. In fact, that's a terrific transition to our third figure, and that is the refreshed Sisko look. It's only somewhat of a spoiler to Mike because I have mentioned it previously, But guess what? They finally let Avery Brooks shave his head and grow his goatee back to his iconic classic
It's
look.
interesting when I see pictures of Sisko like on the internet, because let me tell you, since we do all the Star Trek stuff now, like the algorithms are just feeding me content, and it's everything I can do to try to not read everything.
Yeah.
But the picture they generally show of Sisko is like him with the bald head and like a purple kind of ensemble.
Yes. Well, it's going to be a uniform change.
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything to me currently. So
too. But this is starting late season 3 into season 4, where we get the goatee back, we get the hair back, and of course, like they didn't want, they forced him to grow his hair and get rid of the goatee so he would look different from his iconic character. I think it's from Man from Hawk, but thankfully. They let him go back to his standard, and this is the look of the Sisko that's the iconic
I don't know for
look.
sure, but from reading some interviews with Avery Brooks, my guess is they didn't let him do anything, Keith.
Well, yes, he made it go, but it's also like, sort of like Riker's beard, right? When Riker's beard comes in, we meet who Riker really is.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and I think this is where the character, as well as the look, starts to come into full focus, and we get
listen.
full
That
Sisko.
I'll speak from personal experience. I'm sure it's fairly ubiquitous, but there are different stages of a performance, or when you're preparing for a performance, and there's a major difference. And maybe I'm just not that great an actor, but when I feel schlumpy or crappy with like the costuming I put in or the look I'm given, unless it's that's informs the character, unless it's that type of role. But like when you look badass or you feel badass, it gives a swag to the character. And going along with that is I find that anytime like a character I'm doing or whatnot is wearing a baseball cap or has glasses or has something about their visual design that is Mike, that aligns with what I am, my visual style, there's something clicks, and you add a little. It gives you a little bit of comfort. So if this is Mr. Brooks's normal vibe about the goatee and whatnot, it will help him.
Well, for sure, and it also there's a transition character wise, because I think they were trying to sell him early as like friendly TV dad.
Yeah,
and Avery Brooks brought badass to it. Mm-hmm. And then, he's still friendly TV dad, but now his setting is badass, who also happens to be
Do you think the hair thing in the beginning was like, we want to get him out of the way of Picard?
Oof, that's also a possibility. I think it's probably a little bit of both. Yeah. That's true. It hadn't even occurred to me that the first two 90s captains were bald.
Yeah, we're dome pieces.
But interesting. But yeah, I'm sure that was all a part of it. Yeah, it's really, when he loses the hair, we're in it. Okay. We are in it. So
he loses that last F to give, right?
Yeah, a million. So true. That is very, very true. All right. Well, anyway, let's look at the box, buddy.
Yeah, let's do it. It keeps forgetting the box.
Here we are with the mixed series box. This is one I actually do have in the box, but I didn't pull it out of the tub.
His poor foot, and whoever put him in his plastic in that Chinese factory, really.
Yeah, well, hey, look, he
owes a debt. He owes a gambling debt.
That's true. Bad things have happened, but he definitely gave worse than he got. I'd hate to see the other guy's foot. Yeah, I'll tell you that much. Yeah. So this came with one of those oversized cards. Which didn't fit in the anything, which is annoying. They did a football card set where they tried to make them longer. It was like game day cards. Somebody will remind me what that was. It's like 93, 94, something like that. But they were great cards, but they didn't fit into any of the binders. And so there's like, what do you do with it? So were they game day, Mike?
No. Looking for something else.
All right, never mind. So, whatever it is, there it is. Let us go forward to another Deep Space Nine iconic classic, and that is Mike. It is the Grand Nagus. Oof. Here he is in all of his wrinkly glory. Let's have him stand up a little straighter. Mike, what do you think?
so awesome. Does he come with the walking stick?
I think he does,
Yeah.
yes.
You know what I love about this character? First of all, it's so good. All of his like wrinkles and grossness, and it's a great of you can still see Wallace. What's his name?
Wallace
Shawn right through that.
And great costume.
Yeah, that like zipper, like big kind of ornamental thing. I thought Jen was wailing, but she's just talking. He's got the cowl neck. Everything about it. I mean, I probably could have seen more color in the jacket, but I'm being picky.
What I love more on the jacket, but the pants. I think it's bright. Go ahead.
What I love about this character in general is just how there's a lot of humor and whimsy in the character, just by design and by the portrayal, but also behind the scenes, all of the machinations. He's actually brilliant. He's as brilliant as you think, and he can pull the wool over your eyes, and he can manipulate you by seeming kind of dim and what. There's so many levels. I just love the Grand Nagus and Nagus, and great figure. I'm in.
The Grand Nagus as he beats people to death with the staff. Yeah, I mean that would be a really bleak turn for the Grand Nagus.
Well, Playmates is doing so many like weird crossover things with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and whatnot right now. What if you got the Grand Nagus Negan, the Grand Nagus Negan? He's just got his bat. It's like that stick but wrapped up in barbed wire and stuff.
That's a custom. No, I love this figure. I think it looks. I think the blue really pops. It's a really nice color, but it represents the character on screen perfectly. The head sculpt is great. It's interesting, and it's just like the Ferengis always look cool on the bookshelf. I think the sculpt is terrific on this, and I think it's a great figure. It's no getting around. This is a great figure, Mike. And here it is in box. Also came with a fake Pog, and some other exciting choking hazards. Mike, what do you see on the choking hazards there? Let's
go ahead. Let's take a peek. Let's get a official zoom. We've got the galactic gear. Keep the Ferengi cane.
Good.
Oh, there it is. It's
the staff.
A little behind the card. I hope it has a little head on it.
Of course it does. Yeah.
The gold latinum pieces, of course. He's got 40 of them because he's who he is. The Ferengi refreshment bottle, and of course,
or a cup.
Yeah.
Refreshment bottle.
Yeah, and of course that action base.
My refreshment chalice here, Diet Dr. Pepper. Cool figure. Definitely a nice one to have. So next up, we have from one of our favorite episodes from season 2, from the episode Blood Oath. Here is Dax getting revenge on the albino. Mike, talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that it's as badassery as it was on the show, but maybe that's because you don't have Terry just kind of giving it. You know what I mean? It's not bad. It's okay. I'm not in love with it. I mean, it's screen accurate. I think it's pretty screen accurate.
It's screen accurate, and I think the difference is right on screen in the TV lighting as opposed to in this promo shot.
Yeah,
it was all much darker. It wasn't as silver as it actually was. Good, but it clearly was silver. You can see this behind the scenes shot here. So
you're absolutely right. The lighting helped it. It's a little more LARPy here in the production shot.
It is a little, yeah. Well, you can see that it's not metal, that it's actually fabric, sort of made to look like studded metal, but it's really just fabric. So it's one of those things where the figure went costume accurate, but not necessarily screen accurate, because it was obviously darker on screen.
And this is kind of really awesome. 100 plus episodes into our show, when we first started, Keith, obviously you remember me talking about how kind of samey everything was, and you know what? I forgot that we should move. Hold on, let's do this in real time. We should move Mike over here for this because I want to see. Oh, you've been listening to the waves, right?
Yeah. Well, so glad that we figured that out. One figure left to go.
Yeah, for the future. In the beginning of the show, when I didn't have really much Star Trek context at all, some things could get a little samey, or I would just kind of end my critique here with, it's a little ho-hum for me, but. Context is everything, right? Knowing the episode it represents, being one of my favorite episodes of the season, and how badass she is in it, it really is kind of moot how great the figure is because it's what it represents for me on the shelf. So I'm a fan of it.
And now you're understanding where it comes from, where I was at early in the series, right? Because okay, so the uniform is the same, whatever, but that character means it has 100 episodes of stories told in that look, 170 episodes of each of these things, or something like this, where like an iconic episode. So there's so much more attached to it.
Actually, broadens the conversation to something we've been chatting about with the new waves and whether their selection of figures and their sort of proliferation into stores. And because early on in the show here, I was talking about as I would go and look at action figures, sort of IP agnostic, and I was looking for things that looked cool because I mixed and matched them all together in my play when I was a kid. Star Wars and Masters of the Universe have done a much better job of, well, they have the billions, right, from Lucas, so much better job of reaching into the kids' audience, and the younger audience has a much more context for all of those figures, which is why I think they spend more money on retail to get them on the shelves, and so kids are buying the different stuff. Whereas Star Trek, it's clear their demo, with the exception of Prodigy and the Below Decks, mostly Prodigy, right? Their demo is older people, is us.
Yeah, adults. Yeah.
So I would imagine their strategy is much more online and is much less retail. And we've seen that bear out in the market, at least in my neighborhood, and what we've heard from you guys sending pictures in and stuff. So maybe that's it. Maybe they're just not.
Yeah, I mean, retail is much less. It's much less of a kid grabbing it on the shelf impulse buy as it is like I'm going to actively seek that out.
But then, to that end, you wonder why they're not making their lines a little more filling in the holes that the collectors wanted, or doing some of the cool crossover stuff that they're doing with the Turtles and whatnot, because at least then you've got some different brand recognition and you've got some more kind of unique action type figure type things. I'd love to talk to somebody on their marketing and know their strategy.
They did cross over with the Turtles. They did a line of Turtles dressed in Star Trek uniforms.
Oh, that's
way
kind of
back.
cool.
They're hard to get. Now, before we move on to our next figure, I feel like I just need to show this because as I'm
stay here.
No, stay there. In my hand here, I just want to get and show a little bit more. Let's see if I can get this in focus. Look at the ear hair.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's gross as hell. I wish it was practical, but obviously that would be difficult.
Look how cool that is.
That's really cool.
Ugh. I mean, the detail to get it in there, get the bluish hue in the...
That's awesome.
Actually, because I can turn them up this way.
Well, that's pretty good Nagus, buddy.
Oh, well, that's what we do. So
look at him ogling Dax. He's ogling Dax, yeah.
There
right,
you go.
Let's look at that box.
There's our slate.
Oh, no,
All
that's
right.
Keiko.
Oh, look at the box.
I guess I didn't put the box in?
You didn't put the box? Where's the box? What's in the box?
Oh, I guess
no box for you.
Wait, what? Oh, my bad. No, we're getting the box. Hold on.
No.
No. I can do the box.
Any guesses what our next figure is, kids? It's gonna be very exciting.
This is gonna happen. Wait. It's gonna happen.
Believe.
Hey,
I believe there it is. That
was worth it.
Which, so worth it. Well, but it is interesting that they used this same promo shot for the Pog.
Yeah, that's true.
For the space cap.
This is Dax starring as the Tin Man in The Wiz.
Oh, move on. Ease on down the road.
Ease on down the road.
Yes. All right. Well,
ease on along home.
Let's ease on along home because I keep getting that wrong too.
Oh, I did duplicate it, and so now it's going to be messed up in the thing. Okay, now Keiko's gone. My girl.
Now she's gone forever. I saved Keiko as a finale just for you because Keiko is. Mike's favorite.
Of all the things. This is so curious. It's funny. I mentioned this on one of our shows recently. Of all the things I'm curious about, Keith, I want to know the trajectory of Keiko because people tell me that my love for Keiko is misplaced.
No. There's nothing to not like about Keiko. Okay. I think people just disliked her for other reasons. I don't really know,
okay.
But I mean,
well, I can honestly say I don't love this figure, Keith.
No, I don't know why she's Batman.
She's Batman.
Or she's like I don't know.
also
She's a
think
ninja.
that like they didn't. They've been able to capture so many great likenesses in the sculpts, and I just don't think they do a good job here. And that surprises me. She looks so generic when the actress that plays Keiko, who Keith will tell us her name,
Rosalind Chow,
of course, whom I love, and I knew that. Of course, I knew that. Just isn't really captured here. I wouldn't know who the heck that was if you showed me that figure. I'd be like, oh, is it the like Catwoman?
Yeah, I don't understand what's going on with the outfit.
Is she ever in a vinyl cat suit?
No, she's not. I think this is supposed to represent what she's wearing in the screenshot here, but they didn't paint the vest.
What's the box look like? Hold on.
It's...
No! It all got messed up.
Oh, Mikey. Yeah, it's... Oh, and she stopped rotating, too. Oh, my goodness.
Keiko
has broken everything. I think that's maybe why people don't like the character. That's just spinning too fast. It's gonna... We have gone off the rails here. But yeah, I mean, that's what it looks like in the box. Like,
yeah,
what?
No.
Like, why is she posed weirdly like that? You know, it's like one of those Warp Factor Series 4, right? But she actually has articulation, unlike Kira, right? She actually has knee and thigh and elbow articulation, but she can't, she still has to be spread out. It's forcing her to, like, I don't know, be like about to catch a football. Right. She's like on a punt return. I don't know why. I don't know why she's doing a punt return. But there she is.
All right, there we did it. We did it. Okay. So sorry. So sorry.
We keep getting better and we keep getting worse. Nothing if not consistently inconsistent.
Did you stop her shaking? Yes, you did. Okay.
Yeah. Right. My turntable ran out of battery while that happened. I think we ran out of battery.
Yeah, we did.
So like, I'm really happy
a little bummed.
I'm really happy to have the character represented, but this is an odd representation of the character. I think that... Is
there any other Keikos, or this is what we get?
This is it. Oh. This is the Keiko we have.
This is me. Hey, hold on. You know what? Keith, will you bear with me for just a second?
We're going to go to one.
Hey.
Yeah.
Listen, team. You see this? That's Keiko. That's my girl.
Mm-hmm.
This ain't gonna figure. I know someone out there has customed a Keiko. I'm not saying I will need it in my house, in my possession, but I need to see it. I need to know that she has been hashtag justice for Keiko. Okay.
Yeah.
Look at my Star Trek Toys at gmail.com. If you've got that custom, if you think you've done the Keiko that Mike deserves and that the fans deserve, send it our way. We'll make sure it gets featured on one of our custom shows. All right?
Okay. Well, there it is. Yeah. Well, Mike, so that is our episode on more Deep Space Nine figures. We got some guest stars. We got some alternates. We went to the mirror universe. Lots of fun stuff that now you have context for.
Yeah, really cool. Really enjoy these episodes.
It's way more fun when you understand what's happening, right?
Yeah, I think that goes for many things, but we'll use it for this.
Yeah, well, once we have worked our way through all of Deep Space Nine, all of Next Gen, and all of Voyager, we have to do all these figures again.
Would you like to be our angel investor so that Keith and I can do all the shows and not have to do, like work? Patreon.com/K&M. We'll make a special tier for you because it's going to cost a penny, but you're welcome to join us.
Well, there it is. Yes, we have a $15 tier, but now we're looking for $150K.
Yeah,
tier. Then we'll, well, geez, that'll work for me. Yeah, I'll work for less than that. So there it is. All right. So if you enjoyed this nonsense, as always, check out Keith and Mike Watch Deep Space Nine. Watch Mike see that context in real time.
Season 3 being joined by a special guest.
Yeah, we're in on season 3, and so
did you know that? Did you know that my wife is going to watch the show with me starting season 3?
Is she going to watch the first 2 seasons?
Well, we're working on how we're going to handle that.
Okay, well, I'm excited. I might actually watch it then.
Yeah, we'll see.
That definitely is much more interesting. So
the show is called "Does Mike Have a Second Microphone?"
Does Mike have a second microphone? What a stupid question that is. Does Mike have a second microphone without moving your elbows? Can you grab more than one? Does Mike have a second camera? Does Mike have a second speaker?
We're good. We're set up. We're gonna be all right.
We're good. We're good. All right. Well, thank you so much for watching. We will see you back here next week with another episode of Look at My Star Trek Toys. I don't know what it is yet because we just prepped 4 of them. I have no idea what it's going to be, but it's going to be awesome. Probably some customs. Maybe the phenomenal
Keiko
full set diorama of Deep Space Nine from our friend Joshua Cronin. So hold on. Yeah, maybe we'll do that. That'll be fun. All right. Till then, this has been Look at My Star Trek Toys.